Alabama was the last team who tried and failed at a three-peat, as their quest was dashed by the Auburn kick six in 2013. Nick Saban battled complacency with his team all year as winning had become too easy. Now, Georgia attempts to accomplish the feat Alabama failed at. Head coach Kirby Smart was still the DC at Alabama, so he knows how to push them over the mountaintop. Smart loses his two-time national champion quarterback and his offensive coordinator to the NFL. Still, the lofty expectations for his team continue to mount as the Bulldogs attempt another run at historical greatness. Georgia will receive every team's best shot because they are now the hunted instead of the hunter. Ed, what are your thoughts on the Bulldogs three-peat?
I think on their three-peat chances, their schedule is tilted in favor of them repeating or getting to that national title game. You're looking at their schedule. They kick off with Tennessee, Martin, Ball State, and then they have a South Carolina team that was kind of, at the end of the season, was running hot. We'll see how that transfers over to this season. But then UAB, and then they go into Auburn. It's a Kentucky, Vanderbilt, Florida, Missouri, Mississippi, Tennessee, and at Georgia Tech. So I think they got a chance. I mean, Stetson Bennett, and I hate to say it this way, he had the experience, but he's not going to be difficult to replace. It's not like he's a lifetime career quarterback that Georgia had. You know, they have two quarterbacks that are battling out right now that they probably have similar talents that he does. So if they get the right QB with the schedule in their favor, man, I think they have a shot.
Yeah, I agree. Listen, their schedule is so weak, right? I know some Georgia fans gonna be mad about that, right? But their schedule is weak. They might have. If I look up the strength of schedule right now for Georgia's team next year, I'm pretty sure it's going to be embarrassing.
So to be fair, right, they do have some two tough ones in that last stretch with Ole Miss and Tennessee, right? Oh. So with the Ole Miss, they got that game at home, but the Tennessee game is on the road at Tennessee. Now, if Tennessee is as good as they were last year, it's going to be a tough one. Like I said, 100,000 strong at Neyland Stadium against their hated rival. It may be tough for Carson Beck, Brock Vandegrift, whoever's the starting quarterback. It may be a tough environment for them. So that's the only games that I can see them having a difficult time with.
The reason I say that, right? Yeah, they have a weak schedule, but they could have, the way that they defense dominated college football the past two seasons, all you need is a game manager at quarterback, right? Somebody to take care of the ball, be able to sustain drives, and, score every once in a while. Their defense was ridiculous the past two seasons.
Yeah, so, you look at, and I think the defense is going to get better. I mean, they had 5 freshmen and sophomores starting on defense last year. I mean, that's crazy. So they're going to have experience, man.
The way we've been seeing the last couple of years, like the Bamas, the Georgias, the Ohio States, they've been able to get in with a one loss. If they dominate with their defenses, they lose to Tennessee, they still have a shot to get into the playoffs and make some noise. So even with a loss, they don't necessarily have to go undefeated next year to get in.
Unless Tennessee or Ole Miss are like ranked very high, I think they cannot afford to lose any of those games because, like I said, as of right now, that schedule it's not good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, to be fair, they were supposed to play Oklahoma this year, right? And the commissioner took it off the table because of them joining the SEC next year. But
Oklahoma, we beat Oklahoma last year 49-0, so that's not saying much. It's not saying much.
But I have to give much respect to Kirby, man. He's done something that I think a lot of people didn't see coming. Mark Richt almost always got close, but he could never pull him over.
Yeah, he could never get over the hump.
Yeah,
He could
but
never get over the hump.
for the last 4 recruiting classes in 2020, they was first. 2021, they were third. 2022, they were third, and then this year they were second. I mean, that's how you build a great program. And then
Top
going
five
back to like we
recruiting
was talking about with the defense. I mean, they had 5 freshmen and sophomores starting on that defense last year. That's talent. So
And the first year that they won it, they sent like 8 players to the draft from their defense. Early on in the
Yeah.
season, they had their struggles early on in the season. And then, they ended up getting it together. But Kirby Smart got that thing humming, man, and they just, stacking talent upon talent. So I don't see why. As long as, like I said, they got a quarterback that managed the game, they're going to be okay.
yeah, and just having a quarterback manage the game is reasonable because you got some great running backs. You got all-world tight end Brock Bowers, right? I mean, beast. He a beast. I mean, dude taking handoffs, taking it to the house, catching them. I mean, nobody can catch him, right? Man, he's a beast.
Remember, if they win that next one, now when we talked about that handing of the torch from Bama to Georgia of being the premier team in the SEC.
Yeah, shit, not the SEC, the nation, man.
The nation,
yeah.
Now, what are some things that you think that are going to hinder them from getting to that three-peat?
I mean, consistent quarterback play. Defense, not living up to what they were last year.
The change at offensive coordinator. Mike Bobo, he was the offense for the last 2 years. He was the offensive coordinator at South Carolina, and then he was at Auburn. Last year, he was a analyst over at Georgia. But one of the things, man, when I looked at his record, when he was at South Carolina, his offense was 96 in the nation, right? Total offense. At Auburn, he was 67th. And, he was fired as the offensive coordinator at Auburn, right? Because in the second half of games or the final month, they only scored a combined 12 points, right? So I know he's going to have better talent at Georgia. And I know I read that, he was calling some of the plays. Well, he was helping them call some of the plays in the championship game. But I'm just curious to see, man, like with him having the total reins, can he get them over the hump?
Yeah, that's true. It's different when you just helping out. When you the man.
And like I say, he's been a head coach before. He was at Colorado State for 5 years. He filled in for Will Muschamp when he got fired at South Carolina. He went 0-3 there. But he's been around. He was at Georgia 14 years under Mark Richt. So he's been around, man. I'm curious to see what he's going to bring to that offense. Since Todd Monken left to go with the Baltimore Ravens.
We shall see. I mean, he's going to have 2 good games to tweak his offense and see what he needs to do before he hits South Carolina. So statistically, man, the odds are against him, man. This thing, the three-peat, it's been within grasp of many great teams, but it hasn't been done since the 30s. That's 34-36 by Minnesota. And when you think about the dynasties that have gone through since then, and they haven't been able to get that third championship, that three-peat. So, I mean, players being complacent, we've won 2 in a row. So, yeah, it's just going to be, can they keep focused doing the small things right? Right, that does it for this episode. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what you think. Y'all take it easy. Peace.